In order to add or subtract fractions, you need to have a common denominator. So when you look at your two fractions, if your denominators are different, you have to change them so that they have a common denominator. And the way we do this is by using the least common denominator of the two fractions. So if I look at these two fractions, I can tell that my least common denominator is going to be 12. So what I need to do is I need to change both of these fractions so that they have 12 as their denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make equivalent fractions for 1/3 with a denominator of 12, and I'm going to make an equivalent fraction to 3/4 with a denominator of 12. And we've done equivalent fractions before, but just a reminder, whatever I do to the bottom to get from 3 to 12, in this case times 4, I have to do to the top. And the same thing with the second fraction. To go from 4 to 12, I multiply by 3, so 3 times 3 is 9. So now what I have when I look at this problem is I have 4/12 plus 9/12. And 4/12 plus 9/12, both of these now have a common denominator. We can see they both have a denominator of 12. So now I can add these just like I did before, where I add my numerators. 4 plus 9 is 13, and my denominator stays the same. And I'd be almost finished, except for 13/12 is an improper fraction. So we have to change this to a mixed number, which would give me 1 and 1/12. Now let's try one with subtraction. Same idea. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have a common denominator, which we don't. Since we don't, we need to figure out what our least common denominator would be. And for 9 and 6, the least common denominator is going to be 18. So I'll change this first fraction, 5/9, to a fraction with a denominator of 18. 9 times 2 is 18, so 5 times 2 is 10. And then I'm going to change 1/6 to a fraction with a denominator of 18. Again, 6 times 3, so 1 times 3. So what I have is 10/18. But look carefully, this one is a subtraction problem here. So it's 10/18 minus 3/18. So 10 minus 3 is 7, and I keep the same denominator. Now 7/18 is already in simplest form, so there's nothing I can do to it. So that's my final answer.